Hey guys, thank you for checking out this video on how to work with and use the student data tracker for our quarterly assessments. So what you're seeing is the SMORE that probably led you to this video. I wanted to touch on some points of this SMORE and help you utilize these data tracking tools. So the first thing you're going to see is a TEKS checklist, and this can be used in any way that you would like to as a teacher. I just like for the kids to see what the TEKS actually say so that they understand what each TEK is trying to assess. And then there are just some information about the actual Google Sheets and what they're used for, along with the quarterly reflection sheets that are linked to these tracking sheets. So here's a picture of the student tracking sheet for this year, and you'll notice it looks a little bit different than it did last year. We have made it more interactive with the students, so they only have to enter their answers, and from that they will get a lot of information back. The middle school academic reflection sheets are 1 page. And then the high school academic quarterly reflection sheets are 2 pages. So just take a look at those so you see the difference between those. Then at the bottom of the SMORE, here are the student links for the Q1 student tracking sheets. So these are the links that you will share with your students when you're ready to have them go over a quarterly assessment. So let's just practice here with 8th grade on level. So I'm going to click on that. It takes me to this sheet where it says use template. What I might want to do is go up here, copy the link, and that would be the link I would share with my students. Notice the end of the link says template preview. That's going to allow for each student to get an individual copy of this template. So students would simply take the link, paste it into their address bar, and they get the same use template. They will have to click on use template for the sheet to go live. And I'm waiting for the sheet to completely load. And here's a little trick that might help. If you change your zoom to 75%, you're going to get to see a lot more of the sheet all at once on the screen. So I would really recommend changing the zoom to 75%. So the students are simply going to enter their answers in these gray columns below the yellow your answer. The TEKs are on the far left, and you notice that the question number is next to the TEK. So for TEK 8-2A, there's only one question, question 18. TEK 8-2B, again, is one question, number 3. Go down to 8-2D. This one has 4 questions, being that this is a readiness standard. So they will enter their answer for number 4, 8, 11, and 26. I'm just going to enter some answers here, and let's see how this goes. Now the letters can either be capital or lowercase. It doesn't matter. So I am pretending like I have my answer sheet or my answers for the test, and I'm just simply entering them. So these were my answers on the Q1 8th grade on-level assessment. Question 25, I answered C. Question 30 was G. 10 was 2. A, D, J, C, 12 was G, 29 was B, 13 was A. So if you notice, 8-5C has quite a few questions. And I'm just going to go finish all of these. F, and then 22, I got 4, and 26, I got G. So now I have entered all 30 of my answers, or all 25 of my answers, depending on the level. And if you notice, the rest of the sheet filled in. So if you look at the far right-hand side, questions per TEK. So 2A had 1, 2D had 4, 4C had 4, and all the way down here at the bottom, 5C had 6. And these are the number that I got correct out of that TEK. So it kind of shows you in numbers how well you did. The number correct also is going to populate this bar graph down here. So students can get a visual idea of where they did well and where they struggled. So if we look at my bar graph, it looks like 8B, I didn't get any questions correct. So that would be a focus for my remediation. And also anything where I was less than 50%. So it looks again like 8A would be another place that I would need to do some work. And then possibly 4A and 4B over here. I can also see my total score. So this will populate automatically. So I scored 22, which matches the color of meats. So if I had a master score, this cell would have turned blue. If I had an approaching score, this cell would have turned purple. And if I had not passed, it would have turned red. So let me change a couple of these so you can see maybe this reducing to an approaching score. Yeah, I'll change that. I'm just changing some of these so you can see how it would drop a little bit. Okay, so now my score dropped to 16, and now that matches approaching. So just a lot of information to the kids. All they have to have are their answers. They enter the answers, and the rest of the sheet will populate for them and give them some really valuable information as they move into the next quarter. If you look to the right where the directions are, there is a quarterly reflection sheet that they can open, and I would highly suggest that we do this. It is again another template. So once it loads, the kids will click Use Template, and that will give each student their own individual sheet. So here, quarter 2 academic goals, meaning we just finished quarter 1, and this is for quarter 2. 3 TEKs that I could improve on, and they can go in here and type. I remember one of mine was 8.5C, and that's, no, not 5C, it was 5B. And what I might do is refer back to that checklist so I knew exactly what that skill was. Could also come down here, 3 skills, 3 TEKs that you could teach your class. We want kids to identify where their strengths are as well. So which TEKs did I score really well in? What TEKs would I be willing to help a fellow student with? Because it's easy to identify weaknesses, but sometimes we forget about identifying the strengths. What is your goal for the next district assessment? So if they scored meets this time, we would definitely want to have the goal of mastery. And if we scored approaching, we would definitely want to have a goal of meets. List 2 ways you will work on the skills for the TEKs that you are struggling on. Tutoring, asking questions, work at home. So what are 2 ways that they're going to give themselves steps towards attaining that academic goal? What is your plan if you do not meet your Q2 goal? So again, we're talking about self-advocating for some remediation. And then what is your plan if you meet or exceed your Q2 goal? Let's say I was approaching this time and my goal was meets, but I hit mastery. What is my plan for the next test? Am I going to continue whatever I was doing that was working, or am I going to make a change? So this is where the kids get to lay out academic goals. And it's important that we let our kids not only see their results, but have some control over their results and how they use that data into the next quarter. I hope this helps utilizing this information and letting your kids track their data through their quarterly assessments. Thank you guys.